like to improve themselves and also would like to go into the subtitle job industry. So we decided to create a program together with Ajan U and Ajan D. So our two main objectives are, first of all, to provide all the skills that translators should have. We're only talking about English to Thai translation for now. In the future, we might have Thai to translation as well. So that is in progress at the moment. We also want to provide our participants with the practice, the practicum part, so the theories and also the practicum, using authentic text like what we're doing today, real movies, real documentaries, real cartoons. So all of these are authentic texts provided by Ajan D and Ajan U. Alright, so that's our objectives for the program. Okay? So what does it look like? So the program requires that our learners enter at B2 level. B2 means upper intermediate. In the past, we have allowed B1 intermediate students to go in as well, depending on how high of a B1 they are. So if you take the test and you get B1 and you get high B1, don't worry, we can take you in. Okay, but I think I'm not sure, maybe we can ask Kurjit and Ajan later, but I think all of you, if you've been doing some translation before, your English should be beyond B2. Who's here has done translation before? Raise your hands. This is the course that AUA has created just for translators. And then of course, we need the I there, not here. And of course, at the end of the program, you'll be learning more with Ajan U and Ajan D, how to do English to Thai subtitle and dubbing. That's the bonus. There's dubbing translation as well, which according to Ajans, the two Ajans here, they can be quite different. If you have any questions, just raise your hand, let me know. All right, so just very roughly, and our sales team can help explain, all of our courses are based on the CFR level from Europe, from the EU. So it tells us that if you are B2, this is what you can do with your English. And that is why we think to enter the English program, the translation program, you should be at B2, because at B2 level, you can communicate more fluently, I have to go in as well, express your own opinions on topics that are more complex, such as culture, politics, so all of that is part of the media and movies and books. The equivalents would be around 6.5 or higher on the IELTS scoring range, and for the new TOEFL IBT, you would have about maybe 80, 72 or higher. All right, okay, so we do have the placement test that you can apply for downstairs. So Kun Pat will talk more about that. Now, the first course in the program is the English for Aspiring Translators. Now, the objectives, as you can see here, we're going to be quite theoretical a little bit, but still applicable to what you're doing. So we're going to look at some frameworks that allow translators to explore layers of meaning. We're going to do some activity after this as well to show you what I mean by layers of meaning. And these layers of meaning are always hidden behind the lines, between the lines, and behind the literal meaning of words and sentences. Right? So if you're translating, you know, if you're already translating. So that is the contextual analysis part. Now, the language part is the bigger chunk here. So in the language part, we're going to explore interpretation beyond words. So we're not going to trust words anymore, but how do we find out the meaning from the words in front of us? So we're going to look at a few things. Again, these can be, they can look overwhelming because they sound like very academic, but I'll show you some examples. We're going to look at connotation. Connotation means meanings of words that society gives. It doesn't come from the dictionary most of the time. Connotation gives you feelings about the words. Okay, I'll show you some examples, don't worry. Metaphors. Now, can you give me one metaphor? Anybody? Metaphor. What is metaphor in Thai? คำคืออะไรนะเปรียบเปรยอะไรนะคะ Maybe อาจารย์ translation can help me. I'm not a translator. คำเปรียบเปรยใช่ไหมคะ So can you give me one example of an English metaphor that we all maybe have heard before?
Raining cat and dogs.
Raining cats and dogs. Okay, raining cats and dogs could be under an idiom.
Oh, okay.
Not really metaphor. Metaphor means we say that A equals B. A and B are two different things. But something overlaps and we want to show that they are similar. So, for example, love is the colors of the rainbow because love makes you happy and the colors of the rainbow make you happy. That's a metaphor. But these are easy metaphors. We're not going to talk about these metaphors. You can just look up on the internet and you'll find English metaphors anywhere. But we're going to focus on metaphors in our everyday spoken discourse or everyday conversation. And I'm going to show you, you'll be surprised that we use a lot of metaphors in English. The next thing we're going to explore is speech act. We act with our words. Yeah? When I say something, like now, I'm talking to you, okay, I'm asking, what am I doing now?
Introduce course.
Introducing course. So it sounds like I'm introducing all this information, but you know what I'm trying to do? My action is selling the course. So there's always that intended meaning in everything that we say. Yeah? Presupposition means, okay, maybe I have to do this in Thai. เวลาที่เราเขียนหนังสือนะคะ Let's say we write in Thai เราอยากให้ใครเป็นคนอ่านคนชาติอะไรคนไทย So a lot of the things that สมมติว่าถ้าออกเป็นคนไทยอย่างเงี้ยไม่ต้องสมมติออกเป็นคนไทยออกเป็นคนไทยออกเขียนหนังสือสามารถที่จะ make sure ว่า whatever I write เนี่ยคนไทยส่วนมากที่อายุเท่ากันอยู่ใน era generation เดียวกันน่าจะมีความรู้พอๆกันเข้าใจได้ Same เลยค่ะ presupposition ก็คือ sometimes เนี่ยผู้เขียนเนี่ยเขาไม่รู้ด้วยซ้ำว่าสิ่งที่เขาเขียนไปอ่ะมันเขาไม่ conscious เกี่ยวกับสิ่งเหล่านี้เพราะมันเป็นความรู้ที่เขาเชื่อว่าทุกคนที่อ่านแล้วก็ตัวเขาแชร์กัน Okay I'll show you an example don't worry alright so first one remember connotation is the meaning of a word that society gives. It shows, it kind of gives you the feeling, not just the meaning. Okay, so I have three words. I have the word old, mature, and senile. ถ้าแปลใน dictionary ก็จะแปลว่าอะไร แก่ใช่ไหมแก่
old negative connotation.
Oh, negative เหรอ Are you sure?
Like what? Over give up. Oh.
Me?
No. Just an example.
Colors of the rainbow นั่นน่าเบื่อแล้วไม่ทำ But let's read this dialogue for a little bit เดี๋ยวจะช่วยกันอ่านพร้อมๆกัน Two Muslim women are talking and they're talking about terrorism คนแรกบอกว่า it's not even a religion at all it's a cult and they're just doing all the things that a cult would do Dina บอกว่า and I think they take them very young. If you just look at the dialogue, a lot of English teachers would say, oh, I don't see any metaphors. ไม่มี metaphor เลยไม่มี love is like อะไรไม่มี this is equal that. But if you look at these two words, things and take, okay, just take things and take. So the word things ค่ะ If you open the dictionary up, look it up in the dictionary, the literal meaning, non-metaphor, it means objects, items. This is a thing, this is a thing, this is a thing, right? But if you look at the metaphor in spoken discourse, we can call it a metaphor or figurative ก็คือ again I don't know how to translate figurative คือความหมายที่มันไม่ literal
นามธรรมครับนามธรรม
ฮะ
นามธรรมใช่ไหมครับ
I don't know I don't know the title it's abstract but it's not abstract but it's like it's the same word but it's not direct meaning
Is it like a hidden meaning?
อะไรนะคะ
Is it like a hidden meaning?
hidden it could be hidden if you don't know it right it could be hidden but it's not literal มันไม่ใช่คำที่อยู่ใน dictionary now if you look at this they're just doing all the things that a cult would do now if you're translating you would not translate things to mean items ใช่ไหมคะ actually things is a metaphor for actions มันแปลว่า actions ในที่นี้ใช่ไหม so small things นี่เป็นตัวอย่างง่ายๆ but you're going to find a lot more especially in movies they do a lot of metaphor spoken metaphors another example and I think they take them very young ตอนเต็มตรงนี้นะคะเขาหมายถึงเด็ก very young so again literal meaning of take แปลว่าอะไร take ถ้าจะพูดถึงคน we move คนนี้ take คนนี้ไปสู่ตรงนี้ that's the literal meaning of take but in this situation in this dialogue take means recruit into the terrorist group every time you talk three things happen okay? the first layer is the literal meanings from every word I say. That's the first layer. But like I showed you, there's a second layer, my intended meaning. And there's always a third layer, what you understand. So always, every time we communicate, three things happen. The words, my meaning that I want to really say, and how you understand it. Now,